Taming air, the anatomy of pneumatic instrumentation. Today we're going to tame air by looking inside classic pneumatic instruments and learning the simple building blocks that make them work. Pneumatic gear looks mysterious until you realize it's basically an analog computer powered by clean, regulated air pressure. We'll focus on the core anatomy that shows up again and again: the baffle and nozzle, negative feedback, and the amplifying relay. Once those pieces click, old schematics and strange linkages start reading like plain English. Analog computers powered entirely by air. Long before digital control systems were common, industry leaned hard on pneumatic instruments for measurement and control. Pneumatics are intrinsically safe in many hazardous areas because the signal is air pressure, not electrical energy. They're also rugged and can survive harsh environments where electronics struggle. Instead of electrons doing the math, compressed air does the computing through continuous physical cause and effect. If you understand the basic anatomy, even complex pneumatic diagrams become readable. The fundamental sensor, the baffle and nozzle. At the heart of most pneumatic instruments is the baffle and nozzle assembly. A small nozzle bleeds air, and a flat plate called the baffle sits very close to it. A tiny change in gap distance causes a big change in nozzle back pressure. That means microscopic motion becomes a measurable pressure signal instantly. These systems are designed so the normal resting gap sits where the pressure changes fastest for the smallest motion. The problem with a naked baffle. A raw baffle and nozzle is too sensitive, so it behaves more like a switch than a smooth measuring device. The pressure versus distance relationship is also non-linear over a wide range, so it is only nice and linear in a small usable region. The nozzle acts like a tiny leak with almost no volume capacity, so long signal tubing fills and empties slowly. That tubing volume creates slow response time and mushy control. So the baffle and nozzle is an amazing sensor, but it needs help to become a stable instrument. Taming sensitivity with self-balancing feedback. To turn a sensitive detector into a proportional instrument, we add negative feedback. Think of a simple balance scale. The nozzle alone would only tell you tilted or not tilted. When you add a pneumatic bellows as feedback, the instrument starts correcting itself automatically. Output pressure pushes on the bellows to counter the input force, driving the mechanism back toward equilibrium. Now the system continuously self-balances instead of wildly overreacting, translating equilibrium into measurement. With the feedback bellows in place, the pressure gauge stops being a twitchy balance indicator. The bellows pressure becomes proportional to the applied force needed to hold the mechanism in balance. That means the air pressure itself becomes the analog signal. Once it is stable, you can calibrate the gauge in real engineering units tied to the input force. The key idea is simple. Stable balance equals predictable measurement. Adding muscle, the amplifying relay. The baffle, nozzle, and bellows combination can be very accurate, but it is slow because the orifices are tiny. To make it practical in the field, we add a pneumatic amplifying relay. The relay gives volume gain, meaning it can aggressively fill or vent longer tubes without loading the delicate nozzle signal. It's like an amplifier that barely sips from the input but can deliver real muscle at the output. The result is a strong output signal, typically standardized to 3 to 15 pounds per square inch. Inside the relay mechanism, the input pressure enters a sealed diaphragm chamber, so there is no continuous air draw that would disturb the nozzle signal. Diaphragm motion then controls internal valves tied directly to the main supply air, commonly around 20 pounds per square inch. One valve admits supply air to increase output pressure. Another path vents air to decrease output pressure. This is how a tiny, delicate pressure signal controls a much stronger airflow without being dragged down by the load. The electrical bridge, operational amplifiers. Pneumatic self-balancing mechanisms map nicely to electrical negative feedback operational amplifier behavior. In both cases, you have very high gain plus negative feedback to force a stable, predictable output. The feedback tames the wild sensitivity of the primary detector and makes the output linearly proportional to the input. That's why these instruments feel smart, even though they are purely physical systems. Different technology, same control philosophy. Feedback makes precision possible. The simplifying assumption. When engineers analyze negative feedback amplifiers, they often assume the input difference is held essentially at zero by feedback. We use the same mindset in pneumatics. Assume the baffle and nozzle gap stays constant. Then the output pressure is simply whatever it takes to oppose the input force and freeze that gap in place. This assumption turns messy mechanics into a clean cause and effect story you can troubleshoot. Force balance versus motion balance. Force balance means an input force is countered by an output force, so there is almost no movement. It acts like tug of war, where both sides pull until the motion becomes negligible. Motion balance is different. One physical displacement is balanced by another displacement to maintain a constant gap. If the input moves the baffle toward the nozzle backs away so the clearance stays the same. Both are feedback systems, but they balance different things. Anatomy in the wild. Foxboro Model 13A. The Foxboro Model 13A is a famous differential pressure transmitter used for flow, liquid level, and density. It's a classic force balance instrument you can understand by tracing the core anatomy. The capsule senses high pressure and low pressure and creates a small mechanical force. That force positions the baffle near the nozzle, creating a back pressure signal. The bellows and amplifying relay complete the feedback loop and produce a strong pneumatic output. Calibrating the Foxboro 13A calibration knobs usually fall into two categories: zero shifts and span changes. The zero screw adds or subtracts force by adjusting spring tension, shifting the output up or down. The range wheel changes leverage by sliding the linkage point, changing the mechanical advantage of the feedback system. After each adjustment, you recheck because the loop is interconnected and everything influences balance. The big idea is that you are calibrating a force balance machine, not a digital number. Converting current to air, Foxboro Model E69. A current to pressure transducer converts 4 to 20 milliamps direct current into a pneumatic signal. The standard pneumatic output is often 3 to 15 pounds per square inch for valve actuators. The Foxboro E69 does this using a motion balance principle, not force balance. It also uses an amplifying relay, so the output can move a real actuator quickly without lag. This is one of the classic bridges between electronic control signals and pneumatic final control. Motion balance in the E69. More electrical current through a coil increases magnetic force and moves the baffle toward the nozzle. In motion balance, the nozzle dances back to keep the clearance gap constant. That constant gap is the stabilizing trick that makes the output predictable and smooth. Zero adjustment is done by rotating a tab that offsets the nozzle position relative to the baffle. You are literally shifting the geometry so the balance point lands where you want it. Structural variation. Fisher Model 546. The Fisher Model 546 is another classic current-to-pressure transducer, but it uses force balance architecture. Input magnetic force moves a beam toward the nozzle, increasing back pressure. That back pressure feeds a balancing bellows, which pushes the beam back toward its original position. A relay and pilot valve handle the heavy lifting of supply air and venting at the output. Same anatomy, different packaging, sensor, feedback, and amplification. A relay outside the feedback loop. Unlike the Foxboro approach, the Fisher 546 places its amplifying relay outside the primary feedback loop. The nozzle back pressure goes straight to the balancing bellows, with no amplification in that core loop. The relay taps into the signal line and boosts it with a modest 2-to-1 pressure gain. That boost brings the output up to common field standards like 3 to 15 pounds per square inch, or 6 to 30 pounds per square inch. This is a great reminder to always trace where the relay sits before you assume how the loop behaves. The modern evolution, Fisher-Rosemount, 846. The Fisher-Rosemount 846 represents a more modern approach to pneumatic conversion. It's designed to be modular and easily replaceable in the field. It also moves away from purely mechanical force balance and motion balance designs. That shift sets the stage for electronic feedback doing the balancing work instead of bellows and linkages. Electronic balancing. Instead of a mechanical bellows, the 846 uses an electronic control circuit to create negative feedback. A nozzle and deflector still detect pressure behavior, but a pressure sensor reports the result electrically. The control circuit adjusts the magnetic coil directly based on sensor feedback. Fewer mechanical parts means less wear, less calibration drift, and better tolerance to vibration and mounting orientation. It's the same feedback concept, just implemented with electronics instead of pure mechanics. The Caretaker's Guide. The golden rule of pneumatic instruments is simple. Keep instrument air clean and dry. Dirt, rust, and oil can clog microscopic orifices and nozzles inside these devices. A clogged orifice restricts supply air and typically drives the output pressure lower than it should be. A clogged nozzle prevents proper venting and typically drives the output pressure higher than it should be. A practical first aid technique is gently passing a torch tip cleaner through the plugged hole to break loose debris. Always isolate and depressurize before cleaning, and be careful not to enlarge precision holes or you can permanently change calibration. The elegance of air pressure. Pneumatic instrumentation still matters because it's physically elegant, rugged, and surprisingly precise. If you understand the extreme sensitivity of the baffle and nozzle, the stabilizing power of negative feedback, and the muscle of amplifying relays, the mystery disappears. Complex mechanisms become intuitive because you can see the same core anatomy repeating in different forms. These are reliable analog workhorses that helped build modern process control. Thanks to Tony Kuphaldt and the open source community for making high-quality instrumentation education accessible to everyone. Like and subscribe for more crash course instrumentation, and drop a comment with the pneumatic device you see most in the field.